Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Saturday, November the 1st, as we turn the page and turn the calendar to a brand new month. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and Ryan Robinson, who joins us anytime he can on a Saturday, is back, ready to break down the Saturday NHL card. We got a huge slate on tap, as it often is on a Saturday. We got 13 NHL games on tap. We'll get to those, obviously, in just a moment. Yeah, it was a crappy day, Timothy. Well said, as far as betting results yesterday. Albeit it was still a very good hockey game, Colorado-Vegas. They didn't get the memo that these Nevada Day games are supposed to be 6-5 type of games. And it started out, obviously, with the Colorado Avalanche getting a goal in the first minute of the game, courtesy of Marty Necas, and then it ended 1-0 after the first period. So just a tough beat. I don't want to say bad beat. It's a tough beat if you had the first period over, and a lot of us did. Only the second first period under, I believe, for Vegas, October in the last 2 years combined. But, chances were there. I thought Vegas was a little bit sluggish coming out of the gate. They were sluggish most of that game, quite honestly. Colorado played a pretty solid road game, got out to the 2-0 lead. Vegas made it 2-1. Colorado responded to make it 3-1. Vegas got it to 3-2 late. But even after getting it to 3-2, Vegas's push was really, really subdued, and you got to give the Avs credit for not giving up the offensive zone very easily. And, of course, Matt Robinson, one of his bargain bin specials, does hit. That was the highlight of the day. Matt Robinson yesterday joining us on the show. Cale Makar, one of his bargain bin specials, and he puts it into the empty net to seal the win for Colorado, 4-2. We pushed on the full game over, but, yeah, overall, disappointing betting results, but very good game and very good win, obviously, for the Colorado Avalanche there. 4-2 to now win 2 in a row and hand Vegas a very rare home loss. How about the Islanders? Wow, on a back-to-back, drubbed by Carolina Thursday night, and you come back, you roll into Washington, and you beat the Capitals 3-1. Very, very solid effort, and the first Islander game all year with less than 6 goals scored. So it's only actually the second under, but it's the first time that we've seen a below 6 total goals count in an Islander game this year. Yeah, Capitals, I'm telling you what, Capitals offense, this was my concern for them coming into the year. An aging Ovechkin, Protas going to be the way he was last year. There's some concerns about the depth too and what you're going to get from the third and the fourth line at times for Washington. So a nice win there for the Islanders to come back after a tough game against Carolina, beating the Capitals 3-1. Last night. And then Detroit, Anaheim. Great salute, great tribute to John Gibson last night in Anaheim in his return. But unfortunately, the game did not go well for him and his new team, the Detroit Red Wings, as Anaheim rolls to a 5-2 victory over the Detroit Red Wings. It was a weird game for me, and I didn't feel strong about it going in, where it was tough spot versus tough spot. Detroit's on a back-to-back on the road after a very emotional shootout win against the Los Angeles Kings that had momentum swings galore. And then you had Anaheim coming back home, first game off a long road trip. So it was kind of, both teams were in negative spots, in my opinion, but give Anaheim credit. They persevered, pretty good win. And the student outperforms the teacher, if you will. Lukas Dostal, very solid in net. And the Ducks, I'm telling you what, this Ducks team is fun to watch. And they have gotten off to a great first month of the season and a nice 5-2 win last night for them against Detroit. Like I said, not the best betting day, but we turned the page. We got a lot to look forward to here for this Saturday. Alex, what did you think of last night?
Yeah, and like you said, your assessment of Washington is dead on. This is a team that we're clearly starting to see was really relying heavily on that momentum of Ovechkin getting the record last season. That was the biggest propeller of the, and like I said, they had a lot of other things that went well too. Having a guy like Alexei Protas kind of break out and emerge as a top goal scorer as well. It was a perfect storm of sorts for Washington the season they had last year. And based on what we've seen in the first month, it doesn't look like they're going to get anywhere close to recreating what they did in this previous season. They might have to struggle now to be a wild card team. And that was the thing we said. We were kind of just on the fence with Washington early when we did our season preview because of that. What are we going to see from them in that first month? That's what I said. I didn't have anything futures wise with Washington because it was a wait and see approach. Now this looks like more of a bottom feeder team, especially with the Metro being a little bit more competitive and goal heavy too. When you're starting to see teams like the Islanders, trend to overs, then Washington has to start bringing some of that firepower offensively, and they have to start getting some better goaltending from their tandem. If they don't, they're going to find themselves toward the bottom where they are right now and stay down there past November, December, and beyond. So that's sure there's got to be some concern there in DC. Like I said, Carberry has done a fantastic job. This is not on him. I think this is more of just the personnel they have. They look more like the team from 2 years ago, where we said, they're gonna have to blow this up at some point. Ovechkin's near the end. They've got some pieces they can plug and play, but they don't look like a true contender in the future. Everything we said the season before last is seeming to ream large now in this first month of the year. And then you got, like I said, the Ducks looking fantastic. A team that we talked about it all last month, and we're gonna probably talk about it for another couple weeks until it does happen. But these prices will change. And you're not going to be able to get the Ducks at a pick and price. At some point, you're at home against bottom feeder teams, you're going to be laying 130, 140, 150. And you may have to look at taking them in regulation. So now we're going to start seeing the shift with a lot of teams. I think now that we enter this new month, we're going to start seeing those prices and the bookmakers make adjustments. We're already seeing it with lines and totals moving a day earlier. 5.5s are turning into 6s in the morning. 6s are turning into 6.5s. So the books have finally kind of caught up with the new pattern of things, and now we're going to see them adjust the lines. It's going to make our jobs a little bit more difficult, but we'll be able and ready for the challenge.
Yeah, no doubt about it. People in the chat saying I agree with that. For a guy, the whole defense has had a tough time this year, and Sorokin is at times as well. But yeah, Sorokin was good. I thought that was one of his better games last night. But at the same point in time, this is an inherent problem with Washington, I think, is finding goals in bunches, and we're seeing it. Even when they played Dallas, we saw them get shut out 1-0. So, like I said, goal scoring has been a bit of an issue. I guess there's someone is in the chat saying there's a little bit of an Arbor Jackeye resemblance in Ryan. Maybe a little bit, but
haven't got
a little
that
bit. I mean, it's not like a dead ringer or anything like that, but yeah, there's some Arbor Jackeye in Ryan Robinson a little bit. Ryan, anything you want to add to the discussion about last night?
Yeah, no, I actually didn't have anything last night. Obviously, it was Halloween, so here at ASU, I was out with some buddies, and
yeah, you're young enough to celebrate it. That's right, I forgot.
Yeah, watch more of the baseball game, honestly. So I know there's only a few games last night. I did see Matt's bargain bin cash, so that was good, but didn't have anything last night. Obviously, I know there's usually big slate on Saturdays, which I love. So with today, definitely picked my spots. There's some few spots that I pass on because I don't love it. And obviously when there's that many games, there's going to be stuff you love, stuff you don't like. So it's obviously nicer, rather than having a 3 or 4 game slate where you kind of feel like you have to jump in on every game. So just excited for today. Obviously Saturday, college football, 13 NHL games. It's sunny and 70 degrees here in Arizona. So just looking forward to a great Saturday, honestly.
No doubt. And think about, we got the World Series. We're not going to have the World Series next Saturday, obviously, but obviously a Game 7, Blue Jays, Dodgers, kind of fitting. It's going to go the distance and wrap up with a Game 7 tonight. College football, obviously huge NHL slate. There's NBA going on. And then the next Saturday, college basketball is going to be in the rotation as well. So just insane. We're at that time of year, man. November, December, no sleep is the two words that come to mind when it comes to November and December in this industry. That is for sure. All right, let's get into Saturday's NHL card. It's still been a phenomenal week overall for me. I mean, yesterday was a step back, but it's been a tremendous week. Big profits overall since Monday. We'll see if just in the freaking Wizard Sports picks, premium picks in the NHL, 10-2 this week. So we'll see if we can keep it rolling. We've got Carolina and Boston. An early start. This is a 1 p.m. Eastern game here. Hurricanes and Bruins. Carolina minus 190. Road favorites. 6.5 the total here in this game. I'm not going to belabor the analysis. We've got a lot of games today, but I'm on the over by Fecta, but more on the first period over in this game, simply because, look, we've got both teams trending first period over. I like the first period over a lot more than the full game, just because I think Carolina, it's 5 in a row, first period over. Boston, it's 4 in a row, first period over. There's still a decimated Carolina defense. They're not getting Miller back. They're not. Maybe Gostisbehere is the one guy that might play here, but Slavin's still out as well. Seth Jarvis is a game-time decision. He got injured last game, a lower body injury, but tough as nails, that guy, for just, a guy that's a little smaller in stature, but still may play here for Carolina in this game. Jeremy Swayman is confirmed in net for the Bruins. Elias Lindholm's the big new injury for them. He was injured in the Buffalo game, didn't return, and he's out for this game as well. But like I said, I think definitely we're going to see a lot of goals early. Maybe it'll slow down later. But you got two teams that have been just rocking and rolling to the first period over of late. So I'm on the bifecta, but definitely more on the dollar amount side on the first period over here. Freddie Anderson's projected, but we don't have confirmation of that yet. Alex, what do you think here? Hurricanes, Bruins.
I could kick my own ass for yesterday. I made a critical mistake when I liked that first period over in Colorado, Vegas. Knowing how high that number was, we were waiting for the over in game. I should have grabbed goal in first 5 minutes. So I'm not making that mistake moving forward. I am doing that here in this Carolina-Boston game. I got plus 162 for goal in first 5 minutes, and then we'll be waiting for that price to drop down with the first period over, something in the 130, 125 range.
That's a good price, and definitely we've been seeing a lot of first 5 minute goals in a lot of these instances of late. Carolina, even we saw the Islanders game with them Thursday night. There was a goal very early in that hockey game as well. So, yeah, that might be something to look at. Good price, certainly, plus 162, that goal in first 5 minutes. Ryan, anything here you like? Carolina, Boston?
Yeah, I'm on the first period over as well. I actually do like Alex's goal in first 5 minutes, so I think I'm going to hop on that. I know someone in the chat mentioned, I think it was Bailey, said the Bruins are used to these early kind of starts, 1 o'clock Eastern, whatever it is. So I actually kind of lean Boston a little bit. I think they could catch Carolina, by surprise here. But in terms of pregame, I'm just on the first period over right now, and then I'm going to sprinkle that goal in first 5 minutes as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And Aaron mentioned in our group chat the other night about the Husnudinov elevation in the lineup. And from all indications, Husnudinov still going to be on the top line. And Jimmy Murphy confirmed that as well, that, he's going to be with Pasternak on that top line for the Bruins with Geekie. So Marat Husnudinov's got great prop value. Anyone on that line, like that's the one line that's that you trust, for the Boston Bruins offensively. Geekie, Husnudinov, Pasternak, it's by far their best line. Boston's still finding ways to score. We don't trust them defensively, though. That's the issue with Boston, and we're seeing it. And Boston enters this game on a 3-game over streak. Remember, they gave up the 7 to Ottawa. Better defensively the last 2 games, Islanders and Sabres, but they'll be put to the test probably today by Carolina. And then, as I mentioned, with the Hurricanes, with the injuries on defense, we've seen their goals against increase. So interested to see how this plays out here with Carolina-Boston, but primarily liking first period over more than anything in this game. It's a big number to lay. I don't, people in the chat, some people like Boston here, plus 160. They are used to these home games on a Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you buy into that situational element, maybe there's some value here on the Bruins. They have won 2 in a row, but again, Carolina is going to be a bit of a different challenge. But, I certainly see the reason why some people would like Boston at this price. All right, next up, we've got Pittsburgh and Winnipeg. We've got the Winnipeg Jets minus 170 home favorites, 6 the total in this game. I had to dabble just a little bit with the Penguins here at +1. I'm riding the wave with them. I mean, they're just until they fall off or they hit a wall or they sputter or the losing streak starts. Now, it's not going to be easy. Winnipeg's tough. Winnipeg's good. Winnipeg's at home, obviously, but they're feeling it right now, this Penguins team. So a little bit on them, plus 150, more of a price play. Believe me, the burnout will happen at some point with not the burnout, but you know what I mean. They're going to start to falter at some point. But right now, you give them credit. You're seeing, obviously, Crosby, Malkin, Brazeau. They've all played well to start the year for this Penguins team. That's been the big issue, right? They've been scoring goals for sure, the Penguins. We'll see if that continues here. We don't have, I believe, goalie confirmations yet, but the projections are that we're going to see Artur Shilovs and Connor Hellebuck right now as the projected starting netminders. It looks like, by the way, for the Jets, still without Lowry, and Perfetti. There was talk that maybe this would be the game Lowry returns, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Again, just because of the way Pittsburgh's going here, a little bit of a bet here on them at plus 150. But that's it. Nothing else besides that here for me. Alex, anything here? Penguins, Jets.
Yeah, this is going to be a pass for me. Connor Hellebuck is confirmed, but still waiting to see if it's going to be Shelovs for the Penguins. But yeah, this is a game where, like I said, it's a big card. There's some games that I just didn't look at and just wasn't going to play. This being one of them. I will be watching this. Like you said, we kind of was waiting to see when the bottom falls out with Pittsburgh. And the Jets, like I said, not really crazy about them in this kind of 170, 180 range. We've seen them kind of get tripped up at times. These are two teams where talk about, playing during the day. Pittsburgh has a little bit more familiarity of having these daytime starts than Winnipeg. So maybe look at some Pittsburgh early, maybe Pittsburgh, live, but nothing pregame.
Good stuff. As far as props, Mantha's played well lately for the Penguins. The one that's got value to me for Winnipeg is Vlad Namestnikov. Vladislav Namestnikov scored in back-to-back games, and you can get north of plus 400 in a couple of places for him to score this afternoon for the Jets. So Namestnikov, to me, has got some pretty good value here. What do you think, Ryan? Pittsburgh, Winnipeg?
Yeah, I'm keeping it simple. I don't like that minus 170, but I do feel good about the Jets here at home against Pittsburgh. Obviously, Pittsburgh's played some better hockey, but I'm with you guys that eventually at some point they're going to run into a team that's better than them and, not be able to find a way to win. So I don't like that minus 170, but I do like the Jets to get it done. So I'm on Jets 60-minute line at minus 120. I think that's a good play. I thought about taking their puck line, but, just in case it is a 1-goal game and they hang on, 3-2, 4-3, stuff like that. I like the Jets in regulation here.
All right, next up, this is also an afternoon game, Calgary and Nashville. We've got Nashville minus 130, home favorites, 5.5 being the total here in this game. You've got a couple of teams that are trying to gain some traction. We've got Calgary at 2-10, and we've got Nashville at 4-8. We've got Nashville losing 3 in a row, Nashville 2-7 in their last 9, including 3 losses in a row. And you have Calgary 1-9 in their last 10 games, including a pair of losses in a row to start this road trip against Toronto and Ottawa. Both of them were competitive, though. If you look at the Toronto game, 4-3, Dustin Wolf played one of his better games. Toronto outplayed Calgary, deserved to win. But I thought for Dustin Wolf, it was a big step in the right direction in that one. Meanwhile, the Ottawa game, they lost in a shootout 4-3. That was a game where, Devin Cooley actually, pretty solid game from him again. You got to give him credit. The two saves, the 2 starts he's made, he's played respectably for the Calgary Flames. Gave them a chance against Ottawa, but they ended up losing 4-3 in a shootout to the Senators the other night. Anytime Nashville's a favorite, I'm fading them. I said that coming into the year. They're not going to be favored very often, but I'm on Calgary here. I'm going to give Calgary a shot. I think there's urgency. They're 0-2 on this road trip. We should see Dustin Wolf here in net this afternoon. I think it was a step forward for him as far as his last game against Toronto. When he started, I thought it was a much better game from his standpoint. Flames aren't close to winning that game without his play. And like I said, for a guy that's kind of struggled this year, it was good to see him obviously play well. And it is worth noting, without Roman Josi in the lineup, Nashville, they're 1-3 without him. And that one win was a 5-4 shootout win against the Kings, which isn't saying a whole lot. So we do expect, obviously, the Predators to be much worse on the back end without Josi. And it's certainly shone through here. They're still not scoring goals in bunches right at all. This Predators team held to just 4 goals in their last 3 games combined. I think this is a winnable spot here for Calgary. They've also faced a tough schedule. I think David mentioned that on Thursday when he joined us. The Calgary, look, Ottawa and Toronto, those are 2 capable teams. They played Winnipeg twice, Montreal, Vegas twice. It's been a pretty tough schedule early in the year for Calgary. I think this is their chance to step up and get a win against a very beatable Nashville Predators team. So I'm going to take the plus money here. Calgary plus 110. Jonathan liking the first period money line on Calgary. I don't mind that either. Alex, Flames, Predators.
I like this first period over. I got the 1.5. I've laid the minus 125. Not going to wait for a cheaper price. And keep an eye on the goaltending matchup, because this could be another Devin Cooley start. Devin Cooley did have a year with the Nashville organization. So with this also being in a back-to-back spot with Philly on deck tomorrow, the better of the two teams being Philly. You may save Wolf for tomorrow and Cooley goes here, but I wouldn't shy away from leaning. I lean with Calgary because I mean they're still a bad team. These are still two bad hockey teams playing each other. But I lean with Calgary based off of that angle and the fact that, like you said, they're going down in competition. This is a team that they can certainly beat. This is not as tough of a test as a Toronto. So I will be on the first period over, but if it's Cooley confirmed, I might end up grabbing Calgary either right before pregame or sometime in game.
There we go. Exactly. And like I said, with Calgary, believe it or not, 4 straight Calgary games have gone over the total. Nashville's been kind of the opposite. They've been trending more under, 6-4 their last 10. Let me see what the head-to-heads are. It's been a mix of overs and unders. Longer term, it's been more unders. But, yeah, I'm sticking to the side here, Calgary money line. What do you think here, Ryan? Calgary, Nashville?
Yeah, it's kind of like throwing darts at a dartboard, honestly. Two bad teams don't really have a great feel. I honestly kind of lean Nashville at home. I know they haven't been great, but obviously Calgary hasn't been either. I think if I was to take Nashville, I'd look to make it, plus money somehow. I'd take Nashville and maybe parlay with like a Philip Forsberg point. I see that at plus 130 range. So definitely I kind of lean Nashville, but I don't have a great feel on this one. So as of now, I'm staying off of this pregame.
You know what I'm going to bet here? Coronado. I think he was out of the lineup, came back in, and he was a scratch, came back in, and he scored in the last game against Ottawa. So I'm going to rock Coronado again. Maybe Sharon Govich is streaky. He finally scored the other night, too, for Calgary. And I got to go with Matthew Wood. Matthew Wood for the Nashville Predators. I mentioned there's great value right now on Matthew Wood if he stays up on the top line for the Predators with Forsberg and O'Reilly Auto Parts. And, they're dropping him to the third line. Well, Evangelista's on that line. Well, there you go. Well, I'd still maybe sprinkle on Wood, but definitely now Luke Evangelista comes into play here for the Nashville Predators, playing with, as he looks like he could be the one tab to be alongside Philip Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly this afternoon. So Evangelista's upwards of plus 390. For him to score. So pretty good price. Morgan Frost on the Calgary side. Yes, as long as he stays with Huberdeau and Kadri on the top line, he's probably worth a shot as well for a goal prop, point prop, whatever you prefer. All right, next up, Colorado, San Jose. Colorado minus 230 road favorite, 6.5 the total. This is the last of the afternoon games, by the way. There's a 1 p.m. Pacific local start in San Jose. The Avalanche, obviously, with a nice 4-2 win in Vegas yesterday afternoon. This is back-to-back afternoon games for this Avalanche team. San Jose finally getting their first home win in the Shark Tank on Thursday night, 5-2 victory over the New Jersey Devils. Very good performance as far as jumping on the Devils early offensively in that game. And then Alex Nedeljkovic was able to shut the door the rest of the way, played a pretty solid game. But Eklund, Wenberg, and should have known the moment that he was dealt from Chicago that Philip Kurashev would turn into something here in San Jose. And here's all of a sudden he's heating up and playing well right now for the San Jose Sharks. That old proverbial change of scenery, flip the switch, clean slate. Sometimes it does wonders for certain players, and maybe that's going to be a good fit here for Philip Kurashev, which leads me into, yes, I am on Kurashev as far as goal prop in this game. Kind of ride the wave here. He's feeling good. He's got a little confidence here, got a little swagger back now as a member of the San Jose Sharks, so we'll dabble in that. This is a game where I've got the over by Fecta in mind, but I'm going to look maybe for it live. Right now you're talking about over 6.5 and over 1.5 at prices that are pretty astronomical at this point in time. Like the first period over is 1.5 minus 150 at most spots, and the full game over 6.5 with juice. If I could just get a couple of minutes of scoreless hockey early, we're going to get better, certainly with both of those. So definitely over by Fecta circled, live in game, wait for a little bit better price, squeeze a couple minutes at least of scoreless hockey out of this game to start, and I think we'll find those better prices in this game. Good for San Jose winning that first home game, but you know what I think? If you're a below average team and then you're playing a really good team like Colorado, I don't trust below average teams off a win. I've said that many, 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 many times. It was a good spot for them to get that first home win against New Jersey, but I don't know if I want to take my chances with San Jose here against Colorado, especially knowing Colorado's beaten them 10 straight times. That's right, 10 straight wins for the Avalanche over the Sharks in this head-to-head series entering this afternoon's matchup. Alex, what do you think here, Colorado, San Jose?
Yeah, to answer Cole's question in the chat, no. the Sharks are not winning this game. I'm waiting for the Avalanche team total over 3.5, but I'm not laying 145 or 152 at FanDuel. I'm just going to wait for that in game rather than the side. So just going with Avs team total, but want to get a better price adjusted on that 3.5.
Yeah, no doubt. So definitely something to wait on here as far as this game is concerned. Like I said, for Colorado, it's been a righting of the ship these last 2 games. We thought maybe we were going to see Mackenzie Blackwood make his return yesterday, but it was Scott Wedgwood who started for Colorado in the game against Vegas, and maybe this could be that game where we do see Mackenzie Blackwood. And I did give that kind of hurt maybe a little bit, because part of the reason why I thought the over was strong in Nevada Day, other than the historical trend of overs on Nevada Day in that game, was that Blackwood would be rusty, but we didn't get Blackwood yesterday for Colorado in net.
The irony of that is I didn't mind Wedgwood being in there either, because he's gotten so many starts.
Yes,
maybe we start seeing him fade a little bit too. But it makes sense that they would say Blackwood against his old team. So
yeah, no doubt. So I think we're going to see goals here. Certainly goals from Colorado, because the one thing about Colorado, 16-1, if you go back further, says Jonathan, with Colorado over San Jose. So it's been that dominant here in the series.
It ain't 2002 anymore.
No doubt. And to Alex's point about liking Colorado team total over 3.5, waiting to get a better number on it. The last 3 times that they've played San Jose since the beginning of last year, they played 3 times. They scored 7, they scored 4, they scored 4. So they got 4+ in all 3 games against the San Jose Sharks last year. Ryan, anything here? Avs Sharks.
Nothing pregame and sides or totals. I'm with you guys. I'm going to keep an eye on this, look for some good spots live. But just a player prop. I like Celebrini's anytime goal. I see it around plus 200 or better. So I think anytime you have these young kids that are playing against some of their idols, I know Celebrini loves Crosby, loves McKinnon. Just kind of an angle I like. They typically like to bring their best. Celebrini's obviously had a great start to the season as well. So I like him to find the back of the net here.
All right, there we go. Good stuff. As far as, did I mention the props here that I'm in this game? Let me just double check here. I don't think I have a ton here for prop-wise for this particular game. Will Smith, actually, and Kurashev, yes, those are the 2. And Wenberg's actually scored in back-to-back games. So, again, Smith, Kurashev, and Wenberg, they're all bargain bin price-worthy, and they've all scored in back-to-back games for the Sharks. So, there's definitely a little bit of value, definitely for both of them. I don't mind Olofsson again. Olofsson did have some looks yesterday for Colorado. All right, Dallas. Ryan's Dallas Stars taking on the Florida Panthers. Florida minus 130, home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. The Dallas Stars coming off a Tampa Bay 2-1 overtime loss the other night. That was on the heels of 3 straight wins, beating Nashville, Washington, and Carolina. The offense certainly isn't rolling. I mean, the last 7 games, the high water mark has been they've scored 3 twice. And every other game, they've scored 2 goals or less. So we know Dallas has not been firing away on all cylinders the way we expected. Jonathan has made note of the Dallas run of 7 straight games where they have not scored a goal in the first period for this Stars team. And also Dallas on a 7-0 under streak. I believe it is. Yes, 7 straight Dallas Stars games have gone under the total. And it kind of feels like Glenn Gulletson is aware that the team's having a hard time seeing the puck go in. They're having a hard time turning the red light on. They're without, obviously, Matt Duchene, Rope Hintz, a couple of their bigger catalysts offensively. And they're kind of reverting into, you know what, we're going to have to try to play and win 2-1, 3-2 type of games right now. No question. But like I said, that's been certainly the trend here with Dallas. Florida, it's not like they're setting the world on fire themselves offensively. If you go back to the road trip that they had, which started in Philly, in their last 8 games, they've been held to 2 goals or less in 5 of those games. So it's not been smooth sailing offensively for this defending Stanley Cup championship Panthers team lately here either. And from an under standpoint, 5-2 to the under in their last 7 games. So it does feel like this is probably low scoring, although just as I say that, would say I lean under, it is Casey DeSmith going to get the start here for the Dallas. Not that he's not capable. He is. But obviously Jake Ottinger and him are just a little bit of a different beast, at this stage of things. DeSmith has started 2 games this year. The numbers aren't spectacular. That was more so skewed by the Vancouver game where he gave up 5 goals. He was better in his second start, but it was at Nashville. and they've been offensively challenged. He gave up 2 goals on 25 shots in that game. Overall, DeSmith, 3.56 goals against, 863 save percentage in the 2 games this year. Although last year, if you'll remember, he played pretty well in a backup role, 2.59 goals against, 915 save percentage for Casey DeSmith. So he's capable, just a little more in the inconsistent variety, which oftentimes most backups are. Sergei Bobrovsky, not a surprise there. We'll get the start here for Florida in this game. This is a game where, I mean, certainly Dallas and Florida, this definitely has overtime potential. I don't mind a little sprinkle on the draw, but not a whole lot outside of that for me here. Alex, what do you think? Dallas, Florida.
I would not be on the draw. I like Florida here in regulation. I got plus 105. You look at, and Jonathan's got it highlighted in the chat too. 19-2-2, the record for Sergei Bobrovsky against the Dallas Stars is with a 2.42 goals against average, a 922 save percentage, and 1 shutout. Casey DeSmith's numbers against Florida not as good. 2-2-2 with a 3.9 goals against average and an 892 save percentage. When you combine that too with just the fact that how Dallas hit their offense isn't humming, they look like the Glenn Gullison team of 15, 16 years ago right now. And this is a Florida team, I think, at home, and having a goaltender who clearly feasts on a squad. That's a trend we like to back at a cheap price. Give me $1.05 at Florida in regulation.
There you go, Florida in regulation here for Alex. Ryan, your Stars, what do you think for their chances here tonight? Dallas taking on the champs, Florida.
Yeah, no, I'm with Alex. It's Florida in regulation for sure. I saw it was minus 130 as well, and then once DeSmith got announced, it moved to I think like minus 142. But Dallas is struggling to score. I don't like any of the overs right now. Obviously missing Duchesne and Hintz hurts. They should get Ben back soon, which although he's not offensive, I think it'll help kind of their morale. He's a calming presence. He's obviously their leader. So they're just missing a lot of pieces right now. If they could come out of this with, at least a point, that'd be great. But I think it's a good Florida spot. Florida hasn't been stellar, obviously, either, but Bobrovsky's been great against Dallas. It's just, not a good Dallas spot. They're struggling to score, I think, outside of that Washington game when they, Sagan got that lucky power play goal. I think Dallas has given up the first goal in like the other 5 straight games or 6 straight games, whatever it was, when they were on that 4-game skid as well. So if anything, it would be if Dallas somehow managed to find a way to win, I think it would be, something Florida scores first, Dallas claws back, 1-1 overtime, 2-1 finish. But I'm kind of with Alex. I don't really see that happening. It's a good Florida spot. With or without Marchand, I think Dallas is just missing too many important pieces right now offensively. DeSmith's not a bad goalie, though. I mean, they kind of left him out to dry against Vancouver, so I know the numbers are skewed, but he's solid. So, with that in mind, paired with just Dallas struggling offensively right now, I don't like any of the overs. They haven't scored in the first period, in their last 5 games, whatever it is Ian said. So it's a Florida spot for sure. Staying off of anything Dallas in this game besides maybe a couple player props, but I feel good about Florida in regulation as well.
All right, like in Florida, and I like the Evan Rodriguez. Yep. I noticed him on the center.
I like that too.
Line. I didn't know the stats that Jonathan mentioned about him versus Dallas specifically, but he's done well against them. But no question, as far as him being able to make an impact here. Now, it's certainly value with him centering the top line for Florida tonight with Verhaeghe and Reinhart. And Marchand is back. Brad Marchand, who attended a funeral of a family member, taking time to just basically, take care of some family stuff, which is good to see. And he did something as far as, I think, coaching as well, coaching a kids team or something. I saw that on social media. Very cool.
Yeah, a friend of his daughter passed, and he coaches a team, so he was there to help coach. Yeah. I would definitely take a Marchand anytime goal. I think that's a straight up karma. He should definitely get
karma. Yeah, because people that do good things get rewarded. That's kind of thing. Yeah, exactly, and help to do something for others. Yeah, that was cool. Brad
super classy.
Say what you will, classy. And gets under your skin on the ice, but there's no doubt that you want that guy as a friend off the ice. There's no debate about that in my mind.
Major standing ovation to Bill Zito and the Florida Panthers organization for even allowing him to do that. That's something that teams just wouldn't have been really, moving to do, especially with a guy who, keep in mind, this isn't like he was doing this in Boston where he's been his whole career. He's just getting to Florida, and for them to understand the gravity of the situation and let him go, that's very, very classy by Florida.
Yeah, no doubt. So I agree. Florida for letting him, depart the team for a brief period and do that is just as commendable, no question. All right, Toronto and Philadelphia. We've got the Leafs minus 125, road favorites. The total 5.5 here in this game against the Flyers. This is one of these games where you look at Toronto and the inconsistency. They lose 2 in a row to Detroit. They beat Rangers and Predators, although that's not saying much. They lose 3 in a row to Seattle, New Jersey, and Buffalo. Then they beat Buffalo on the second of the home and home. They beat Calgary. Then they lose 6-3 against Columbus. They're 0-5 on the road, and Philadelphia is 6-1 at home. So you look at that. I took the Flyers here, plus 105. I took the Flyers here. I mean, the Leafs have to show me that they are ready to steady the ship before I'm ready to back them at this point, especially here as, road favorites in this game. Now, they've owned the Flyers. That is a concern that I have. 9-1 in the last 10 for the Leafs over the Flyers. But I like what I see from the Flyers. I like the commitment to defense. I like the penalty killing has been absolutely outstanding. And by the way, this Leaf power play has certainly had issues at times getting some traction going. Like I said, they played very well on home ice this season. They've been able to beat a couple of good teams during these home wins too, especially Florida early in the season. So, like I said, like what I'm seeing here from the Flyers at the moment, and you're getting a small home dog price with them as well. Dan Vladar in net, and it's very interesting that Rick Tocchet's been going back and forth with the platoon of Vladar and Ersson, but I think for one of the few times this year, he's giving Vladar a second straight start in net. Maybe is he separating himself just a bit from Samuel Ersson, but it is Vladar in net. Anthony Stolarz, I'm not panicking about him long term. He's going to be fine. He'll bounce back. But right now, he's not in a good way. He is not playing the level we think he's capable of. He's given up that one suspect goal at least every single game he's been in there. I'll let the Leafs turn things around before I decide to back them. So I'm going to take Philly here, plus 105. Alex, what do you think here? Leafs, Flyers.
Yeah, this is one where I grabbed the draw. I have plus 330 at FanDuel. No overtime score in this one because I'm not sure who's going to win this game. Stolarz was drafted by Philly, played in Philly. Record not that great against them. It's 3-2, 2.42 goals against, 919 save percentage, so decent numbers. But like I said, I can see where Philly might have a little bit of an edge, especially playing at home. I think this could be a close battle. We see a lot of those Saturday night Leafs games sometimes be close and go past regulation. I think that could happen here. So draw plus 330 for me.
All right, the draw plus 330. You know what? I'll tell you this about the total. With Stolarz, I think, trying to bounce back, and the Leafs, I think, trying to tidy it up defensively after the 6-goal allowance to Columbus. And a lot of that was Primo. Primo was pretty bad that night, I will say that. But at the same point in time, Philly obviously has been playing solid defensively. Their penalty kill has been outstanding. This could be an under, in my opinion. Again, just to lean with that. Ryan, what do you think here, Toronto and Philly?
I lean Toronto, but I don't have a great feel. This is one I'm probably going to stay off of pregame. If there's, we see some goals early, it might be a live under spot, but I don't have a great feel. Obviously, Philly's at home, plus money. I just don't really want to back the Leafs either, so I'm staying off of this one.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, did the Lakers lost last night, right? I'm just checking. Lakers and the only reason I bring this up is because I'm going to mention something with regards. No, they did win yesterday. They did win. Okay, well, that kind of throws that theory out of whack. But there's people that subscribe to the theory that when it's two sports teams in the same city playing on the same night, that both of them can't win. There's people that buy into that oftentimes, let's say if it's like, for instance, Toronto. We know the Blue Jays are playing Game 7 of the World Series. And some people say, well, if the Leafs win, the Blue Jays are going to lose. And if the Blue Jays win, the Leafs are going to lose. There's people that actually think that way. It's amazing. But and I've actually seen it transpire that way often.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but often. But bottom line is, Blue Jay fans, if the Leafs are up 3-0 after the first period, maybe be worried about the Blue Jays if you buy into that.
Well, like I said, and I really think there might, like I said, be some smoke to what I was saying yesterday of if the Jays go on and win the World Series, and they're now the second team in the last 7 years to bring a championship to Toronto. Now one of them named Maple Leafs. what kind of pressure and scrutiny is that going to put on that team? And that's the way I look at it. What kind of run could they make, just off of the buzz of the city, and there's going to be a parade potentially and all that? Do the Leafs use that to fuel them and say, hey, we need to do this too? Or, is the media going to bury them and the fans going to bury them, and then they kind of just cower their heads in the sand? It's something that you could quantify because of how bad and how noticeable and how big of a weight the Leafs drought is. This wouldn't make shit to anything or any other team in this league except the Leafs. I think there's maybe some smoke to that.
Yeah, fair. No doubt. As far as props for this game, he did get his 500th goal, and it sucks for it to happen in a game where your team's not playing well and losing decisively. But John Tavares did get his 500th goal against Columbus the other night. So congrats to him on that milestone that he was able to achieve. Robertson and McMahon, as long as they stay playing on that top line with Austin Matthews, and I think they are once again tonight, there's certainly some value as far as their props are concerned in this game tonight. Sammy Blais, one game in the lineup, and he scored against Columbus. So if you want to ride that wave, feel free to do so. Trevor Zegras, great game for him against Nashville. Really starting to feel it with the Flyers here the last couple. So I don't mind maybe a look toward Trevor Zegras tonight in this game as well. All right, all Canadian matchup. And this is one to watch tonight. This is a good game. I mean, and if preseason is any indication, like these teams were beating the shit out of each other in the preseason. Like there is not a whole lot of love between the Senators and the Canadiens right now. This is one of those underrated rivalries that doesn't get talked about. But Montreal and Ottawa are both good at the same time. This could be a damn good heated rivalry. And so keep an eye on this game tonight. Montreal minus 120, home favorite, 6.5 the total here in this game. This is obviously a bit of a tough spot for the Habs. They've been on the road for quite some time through the western part of Canada, Seattle as well. And now they make their way back home here after 4 games on the road. So this is not exactly a bet-on spot here for Montreal. That being said, they keep playing well. 8-2 in their last 10 games. Ottawa, though, after a little bit of a slump, they've put together a nice run where since October 16th when they beat Seattle, they are now 5-3 in their last 8 games, 4-1 in their last 5 games. And other than getting blown out in a back-to-back spot by Chicago, their only losses were an overtime loss to Edmonton and a 1-goal loss to the Islanders. So Ottawa is playing better. They've finally adapted, I would say, to being without Brady Tkachuk. They've kind of stemmed the tide a little bit. They've gotten contributions from a variety of sources. Nick Cousins, of course, one of those people who we've been betting on since he's been moved to the top line. We've been betting him to score since he got put there with Stützle and Batherson. Ridley, Greg, Dylan, Cousins, David Perron. Michael Amadio scores a goal. Shane Pinto cooled off a little bit lately, but still an overall great season offensively. Jake Sanderson's playing great, giving them big minutes on the blue line right now for Ottawa. This is definitely a spot that favors Ottawa, and now it looks like it is confirmed that Sam Montembeault is going to be the starting goaltender here for Montreal, and we know his struggles so far this season. He's 2-3, but even in one of the 2 wins, he gave up 4 goals. And then the other games, he gave up 3 in a loss to Toronto. Opening night, 4 goals to the Rangers. He gave up 6 in his last start against the Edmonton Oilers. He's a difficult goalie for me to trust right now. He's been fighting the puck. He's been fighting his confidence here in the first month of the season. Montreal's coming back home off the roadie. I think there's things that line up pretty nicely here for Ottawa. So I will do an Ottawa plus 110 team total split. Ottawa team total is 2. Actually, you can get over 3 at minus 106. 2.5 is too much juice. 3.5 is a big plus price, but I'll go with the 3 here, minus 106 on that Ottawa team total over. So Ottawa team total over 3, split with the money line. And I'm definitely on the over by Fecta here in this game. Not to mention Ottawa-Montreal has been an over series history. This could get chippy if the preseason wars between these teams are any indication. There was a lot of penalties, a lot of power plays in those preseason games. And just going back in history, 4 of the last 5 meetings between the Habs and Sens have gone over 5-4, 5-2, 6-3, 5-2 in 4 of the last 5 meetings between Ottawa and Montreal. So over by Fecta here for me as well. Allmark and net, and we know he's been up and down to start the year. Montembeau's been worse than Dobish. So I think we see goals tonight here as well. Alex, what do you think? Ottawa, Montreal. Up. Check your mic.
There we go.
There you go.
Got me? All right. So this is another game where I'm waiting for the over buy factor, but I will be pregame betting goal in first 5 minutes, grabbing that plus 158, that FanDuel, and then waiting for those numbers to drop down. But I'm trying to get a 6 at a better price, over 1.5 at a better adjusted price for that buy factor. And I'm right there with you on the Ottawa. MGM's your friend with that flat 3 team total. So I'm going to go with that and get Ottawa. I got plus 105 on the money line. Like I said, Habs, I think this is going to be a good back-and-forth battle. Montembeau needs to get back into form, and that's not to say he's not going to have a good game tonight. I think he could. I think both goalies will get into form. I just think the offenses are going to play better, and we still see this game go up and over the total. So that's the way. I'm not handicapping it, saying that Montembeau's just falling off the table now. He's struggled a bit, but I do think he's getting his form and will still be a goalie that we can back moving forward.
No doubt. Like I say, it's the same with a couple of these other goalies. Like we think Stolarz is going to get it back at some point, but until he shows signs of it, I'm hesitant to back him at the moment. Same thing with Montembeau, but doesn't mean Montembeau won't be good down the road. But right now, Montembeau is struggling. He's fighting the puck, fighting his confidence. Don't want to back him, and kind of want to go against him till he shows that turnaround. Ryan, what do you think here? Sens and Habs.
Just the first period over for me. I think there could be some goals early and often, but other than that, don't really have anything. I know, obviously, 2 Canadian teams. The Blue Jays are kind of the story of Canada tonight, so I won't be paying too much attention to this game, but I will be on that first period over.
All right, next up, Washington, Buffalo. Buffalo minus 120 home favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. I'm about to make Real Deal Prime a very happy person. I'm on Buffalo here, minus 120. With Washington on the back-to-back, I guess the one concern is they lost, not won last night. They lost that game. They didn't win it against the Islanders, so maybe they're pissed off, and they roll into Buffalo, looking to bounce back, play a great, hard, strong road game, and beat Buffalo. That's certainly possible. But check out this series history. Sabres have had, and these have been some bad Sabre teams the last couple of years. Sabres have won 4 of the last 5 over the Capitals, and they've won 3 straight in Buffalo versus this Washington Capitals team as well. Not to mention, we've talked about how they've played pretty solid on home ice of late, 4-3 overall for the season. They did have their home win streak, which was at 4, snapped by the loss to Columbus, but I thought they deserved a better fate. They could have easily won that game. And when I continue to look at Washington, I don't trust a team going on the road, even against a team like Buffalo, when you've scored 2 bloody goals in your last 3 games. I mean, that's just not an offense right now that I'm totally trusting at the moment for this Capitals team. It looks like we're going to see we should see Charlie Lindgren because it's back-to-back. Dylan Strome still day-to-day. PLD still day-to-day for the Capitals. We'll see who's in net for the Buffalo Sabres. Obviously, we saw Alex Lyon the last couple. Will we see Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen pick a pack of pickled peppers? We might, because I know some sites have him projected. He's only made the 1 start this season, and that was the overtime loss against Toronto. But again, it's a reasonable matchup for UPL if he does start, because Washington's having a hard time with their offense right now, finding the back of the net. So Buffalo, I will take them here, minus 120. I do like this is a draw that I do like. Yes, Buffalo's gone to overtime 3 straight games. We've seen some overtime, not as much recently, but if you go back longer term, Sabres Caps, 5 of the last 10 have gone past regulation. So I will dabble in the draw as well. Alex, what do you think? Washington, Buffalo.
We've also seen the last 3 Sabre games go into overtime tied 3-3. If you want that exact score, that is 1,300 plus 1,300 at FanDuel. But I'm not going to play that. I'm just going to play the draw plus 330. I'm going to take Josh Doan to score the overtime winner for Buffalo at 65-1. Those would be my only 2 plays here. I don't like Buffalo in regulation. This could definitely be a back and forth game. 6.5 with the total. We've seen the over go 8-0-2 the last 10 meetings. So I would lean with that over, maybe try and grab something in game, but I don't know if we're going to see a lot of pace early. So it wouldn't be a buy factor look. It may be an adjusted, try to get a 5.5 later in game.
Yeah, Grant, the Dylan Strome injury matters. I mean, without him on that top line, the great chemistry he's had in his time here in Washington with Ovechkin, and without him, 2 games without him, they've scored 1 goal. They got blanked by Dallas. They have the 1 goal against the Islanders last night. So they miss him. That's an impact injury, no question, for the Washington Capitals with no Dylan Strome on the ice. Ryan, what do you think here, Washington, Buffalo?
Yeah, so I don't have the side or total. I do like Josh Jones anytime, though. I'm bummed he's no longer bargain bin value. I see him at like plus 230, plus 240. I caught up with him a couple weeks ago before that TNT game they had. I forget who they were playing, but he had a couple points. He said he liked Buffalo. Obviously, he's playing a bigger role there. He likes, good vibe on the team. He's happy. So just getting more opportunity.
Is he kind of a small town guy? It kind of feels that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's just such a good kid, down to earth. And obviously, what, having that confidence, getting more opportunity, what that can do to a player like Donor being a younger guy. So I know he's in a good spot. I'm bummed it's no longer bargain bin value because obviously he's getting more opportunities, putting up some points. So I do like that. I'm going to sprinkle that with Alex as well. I think he said 65-1, but I'm taking him anytime goal at plus 230. Let me take a look. I see as well too. 2+ points for Josh Jones is plus 650. So I actually might take that as well. Hope Donor has a big game. I'm always pulling for him. He's a great kid and obviously more opportunity. He's thrived so far. So give me Josh Jones anytime goal as well as Josh Jones 2+ points plus 650.
Yeah, no doubt. So, yeah, definitely a situation. Yeah, everyone says that. Great kid, Josh Jones. You would know with the friendship there you got with him. So, yeah, good to see him doing well, like I said. And Kesselring is a nice pickup, too, for Buffalo. Let's not act like Utah just made out like bandits with that trade. Peterka's helped Utah, no question. But Buffalo got 2 very good players back, in Josh Doan and Michael Kesselring. And Michael Kesselring just got back from injury a couple games ago. Once he finds his footing, Utah really liked that kid, and if he plays the way he's capable of, Buffalo might have a diamond in the rough there with him on that back end.
That trade looks better in real life than it did on paper.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if Kesselring kind of plays the way I think he might be capable of here moving forward, no doubt. As far as props here in this game, not a whole lot, but Doan's got goals in back-to-back. I would not talk anyone out of taking Josh Doan as far as that's concerned. I mean, depending on the Washington lineup situation, now I don't want to go pepper the board with Washington props because they haven't been scoring, but, Ryan Leonard, Protas, those are 2 guys, McMichael, those are some guys that are going to have some value here tonight for the Washington Capitals going into this one. All right, next up, we've got St. Louis and Columbus. Columbus minus 145, home favorite, 6.5. Well, when you're in one, you're in one, and St. Louis, they played a really good game against Vancouver, I thought. And Jim Montgomery made sure he told them that. Even though they lost that game to the Canucks, and it's another loss, and the losses mount, there's no doubt that was one of their better games. They just deserved a better fate. Lankinen was great. They had 39 shots. They held Vancouver, I believe, to 18 in that game. But puck didn't go in. And unfortunately, it seems like there's just when the mistakes happen defensively for St. Louis, they're egregious mistakes, and they're paying for those mistakes. And they're fishing the puck out of the back of their net after these mistakes that they've been making defensively. And the goaltending hasn't been able to bail them out, whether it's Binnington or whether it's Hofer. So that continues to be the issue for St. Louis. They carried the play, so many good things, spent a lot of time in the Vancouver zone, but still ended up obviously losing that game. Frustrating. Even though, it was a great process, but tough result for the Blues the other night against the Canucks. Columbus is playing better right now. There's no question. Money's coming in on Columbus because they see the Jackets are, playing good hockey the last few games. They've won 3 in a row. St. Louis is struggling, haven't lost 6 in a row. We'll see. I mean, with Hofer and net, I can't back St. Louis. I can tell you that right now. It's just he's another guy. Until I see he's better, I think there's a better goalie in him than what we've seen so far. But like with Stolars, like with Montembeault, like with a lot of these goalies that are struggling early in the season, I want to see the turnaround before getting involved and backing them. So this is going to be an over bifecta for me again, and maybe even a trifecta, because St. Louis, the one thing they've done well this week, the Pittsburgh game, even though they lost, goal in the first period for the Blues. The Detroit game, even though they lost, goal in the first period for the Blues. The Vancouver game, even though they lost, goal in the first period for the Blues. So the Blues have been getting on the board early here in the first period of these games. So I think I'm going to go trifecta with St. Louis Columbus overs in this game. The first period, both teams to score at a plus price as well, in addition to first period full game over. Alex, what do you think here, Blues and Blue Jackets?
So I'm going to look at that first period, both teams to score pregame. I'm going to also bet Columbus team total over 3.5 minus $1.08 pregame, and then look for an adjusted first period over at a better price because I'm going to lay 142, try to get something in the minus 120, 125 spot. I could see goals here early. I don't know if I could see where maybe things kind of taper off late. Like you said, Hofer has looked brutal. I don't think he's going to have as bad of a start as he's had the last couple of games. I do think we see him kind of settle in a little bit, as we do Greaves, but I still think Columbus can get goals on him. So team total with Columbus, first period over, in game, and then both teams to score pregame.
All right, Ryan, anything you like here with St. Louis Columbus?
Yeah, the only thing I'm on pregame is Columbus team total as well. I don't really want to lay, the minus 145 for them, but I could definitely see him getting to 4 goals, especially with, goaltending situation St. Louis. So yeah, give me Blue Jackets team total over 3.5. That's all I have in this one.
Yeah, Jet Greaves confirmed, by the way, in net for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Gave up 3 in the last game against Buffalo, but they did win that game in overtime. 2-3, 2.81 goals against average, 907 save percentage. It's funny, his numbers are actually solid. Probably should have a better win-loss record with a 2.81 goals against, 907 save percentage, but still only 2-3 on the season. I'm not giving up on the St. Louis Blues. I'm not, but I agree. I mean, the price is tantalizing, but yeah, I'm staying away from St. Louis for. I don't begrudge anybody taking St. Louis at this price. This is definitely I'll tell you this: if you rewind to if you put St. Louis at Columbus opening night, October, before obviously St. Louis had this rough first month of the season, they would not be plus 125 underdogs in this spot, no doubt. This would be even maybe St. Louis a slight road favorite, or at the very least even money. There's no way St. Louis would be plus 125 a dog. That's because of the rough start to the year they've had, no doubt. All right, next up, Vancouver, Minnesota. We've got Minnesota minus 160, home favorite, 6 the total. This is going to be quick. Minnesota stinks. Give me Vancouver plus 140. Enough said. Alex, what do you think here? Canucks won.
I love it.
This price is again ludicrous for this bad Minnesota team.
Yeah, I'm going to actually sprinkle draw here because we've seen a history of draws. We've seen a history of just insanity with these two clubs at times, too. Think back to that 10-7 game back in the couple of seasons ago. But draw at plus 340, I do like that. The Wild have to try to batten down the hatches defensively and muck this game up. This should look like a Canucks Wild game from 2004. Honestly, if the Wild will have a chance to win this one. But like I said, there's no reason they should be, laying this kind of a price. Don't fault anyone for taking the Canucks, but I like to draw a little bit more.
Yeah, and I can't even buy into the fishy line theory. I thought it was fishy against Pittsburgh. What the hell's Minnesota doing laying minus 160, minus 170 against Pittsburgh? And if I had been concerned about that line being way higher than I thought, I wouldn't have bet it. And I stuck to the guns and bet Pittsburgh. So not buying into it being trap line and fishy line and all that BS I often hear. And then, Pittsburgh was a no-sweat winner. They 4-1. They won going away. I mean, Minnesota just can't be this price right now, in my opinion, period.
Well, you know how we keep talking about Pittsburgh waiting for the bottom to fall out with Pittsburgh. It seems like the books are lining Minnesota waiting for them to come back toward the top. And that just may not be the case. This may just be a bad hockey club.
Yeah, we're not getting the good prices anymore, guys. But yeah, you have to ride the wave that is Kiefer Sherwood. I mean, he's the most red-hot goal scorer in the NHL right now. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous what he is doing for the. He's actually keeping them afloat with all these injuries they've got right now. It's been impressive. It's been really remarkable to see it. And now you're only getting plus 290 now, but you certainly have to bet it. There is no question about that. The draw I'll probably sprinkle on too that Alex mentioned because of how strong it's been. The one thing, too, that is worrisome, and, can Minnesota take advantage? Gustafson's is confirmed in net. Demko projected for Vancouver. But, man, the injury list is just insane, right? We saw Brock Besser exit the game on Thursday. against St. Louis. Quinn Hughes obviously missed the last 2 games, didn't even travel with the team, so don't expect to see him. Connor Garland, Teddy Bluger, Philip Edel, Hoglander, Forbert, Lekaramaki. I mean, it's a mash unit. So maybe Minnesota takes advantage of that, but at this price and with the way they're going, the way they're playing and stinking up the joint, I'm willing to bet against that. Maybe they won't take advantage of it one more time. Ryan, what do you think here? Vancouver, Minnesota.
Yeah, I was honestly kind of leaning Vancouver. Obviously, Minnesota has not been good. I did think about taking their team total, but this one is another pass for me. Just for the injuries Vancouver has, up and down the lineup, it's kind of tough to, trust them. But obviously not touching the Wild at -160. They've had kind of a rugged start to the season. So this is another one just with how many games there are and, good spots for totals and everything like that. I'm staying off of this one pregame. Could I see the Canucks winning? Absolutely. But just with all the injuries they have and, missing Hughes, I don't want to lay money with them.
Yeah, no doubt. We got Alex's old Blackhawk there, Lucas Reichel, now centering the second line for the Vancouver Canucks as well. So, like I said, we'll see how that ends up transpiring for them tonight. All right, New Jersey and Los Angeles. We've got even money, -110 both sides, 5.5 the total in this game. Sheldon Keefe, unacceptable, the word used by Sheldon Keefe about the San Jose loss, 5-2 on Thursday night, saying we got away with things. We've seen this coming, that we were getting away with games we've won when our habits were starting to decline. Our good habits, I should say, were starting to decline in some of the recent games, even before the last 2 losses. And he said, now we're paying the price for it. We thought, we're still winning, even though the process hasn't been as strong. And he said, we've been getting away with it. And now we've paid the price for it, and it's unacceptable. Talking about the last 2 games where they obviously had tons of defensive lapses. They get ripped by Colorado 8-4, and then they give up the 5 spot, 13 goals in the last 2 games allowed by the New Jersey Devils, and these losses to the Devils to the Sharks and the Avs. I think they bounce back here after that particular loss against San Jose and kind of being called out a little bit by Sheldon Keefe. And you're facing a Los Angeles Kings team that is still waiting for their first home win at Crypto.com Arena. They've still yet to win a home game. They battled back to force overtime against Detroit with a couple of late third period goals, and then ended up obviously getting the shootout victory over the shootout loss, I should say, to the Detroit Red Wings in that game. This is a spot I had circled the moment they got whipped again by San Jose. I like New Jersey here, -110. I think they bounce back. Keefe kind of called them out. Now, I am concerned about their defense without Brett Pesce, because Brett Pesce without him, and that's what this correlation is as far as why are they giving up more goals now, the Devils. Brett Pesce is why. He's by far their best shutdown defenseman. It's not even close, and without him in 2 games, they've given up 13 goals. He's been out 2 games. I don't think he's going to play tonight, and they've given up 13 goals. So that's been the issue. So, yeah, I think New Jersey bounces back. LA still hasn't won a home game, but I do like the over by Fecta here as well. In this game, because 1.5, the full game total is only 5.5. I do think the Devils will get their offense back on track against this Kings D that I think you can forecheck against them and make things happen this year. But at the same point in time, a Pesce-less blue line for the Devils, and we are seeing them kind of scuffle in their own end, and maybe the Kings take advantage of that. And like I said, reasonable totals here. The juice isn't as bad on the 1.5 first period over. And we're talking about a 5.5 total here with this game. So Devils money line, Devils Kings for over by Fecta as well. Alex, what do you think here, New Jersey, LA?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I grabbed Devils. I actually got -$1.05 yesterday on the money line. That's still available at a couple of shops. So shop for the best price around. But I love New Jersey in this spot. Also, will be on the over by Fecta waiting in game. We have 1.5, 5.5 at decent prices. I'm trying to get plus money on both of those spots, but liking the Devils money line more than the by Fecta.
All right, good stuff. What do you think here, Ryan, with Devils Kings?
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I think the Devils bounce back. Obviously, I know they got ripped by their coach. So the Kings have been an overtime team, but I see this one, I don't see this one going to overtime. So I might take a look at Devils in 60 minutes as well. But -110, I think it's good value for a, New Jersey team that should take care of business here.
Don't have goalies confirmed. One thing that would scare me a bit being on the Devils is it could be Jacob Markstrom, and he kind of did look shaky, did look rusty in his first start back against Colorado. But again, the whole team blue line-wise defensively has been not good. So it's a collective effort. Can't put it all on Markstrom. He obviously didn't play his best. He's coming off a long absence, but like I said, definitely going to have to be a little bit better. As far as props for this game, there are a few that I like here with the Devils and the Kings from a New Jersey stand. Dawson Mercer, saw him score, I think either the last game or the game before that. So I think there's pretty decent value there. Connor Brown, by the way, is a game-time decision, so keep an eye on his status.
Can I make a very, very quick public service announcement?
Yes.
In regards to public money in the NHL, it's November 1st. Most public bettors are watching college football, and then after college football goes off, they're watching the NBA. The public money shift isn't something that you need to just read full on into. And I'm just replying to comments in the chat. That's not always the case. We've seen lines. We've seen lines be completely off.
Oh, the line's moving in this direction. We've got to bet it because it's moving. And sorry.
This ain't the NFL. This ain't college football. That's just simply not how that works. Especially this time of year. In March and April and May and June, yes, you can read more into line movement. But yeah, this is not nearly what looks to be a trap spot because of games played with previous previous game and a shift. This is definitely not. So I just want to make that clear. This line movement is in the NHL is based on what happens with rosters and recent form within the last 3 or 4 games. But this is definitely not a trap spot just based off of where our line was from the previous game.
Yeah. No, you got to use some level of hockey intellect and insight and be able to use what your eyes are seeing. And like I said, the hockey part of it has to be part of the handicapping equation. I get it with line movement and following that. I get it, but like I said, you've got to what you're seeing with these teams has to matter. For me at least. There's people who are successful betting that way. Credit to them. Good for them. Happy for them. But like I said, it's just not my style. What do you think here, Ryan? New Jersey, LA.
Yeah, no, we touched on it already. I'm on the Devils.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
you're good.
Corey Perry. Even though I'm on the Devils, like I said, doesn't mean we can't bet Kings.
Perry's been too hot not to bet. I mean, he's leading the team in goals, got 5 in his first 6 games, whatever it is. Like Perry's ride the hot hand.
Yeah, plus 370. You're still getting very good prices as well with Corey Perry right now. Scorey Perry at the moment with the way he's been going. All right, Chicago, Edmonton. We've got Edmonton minus 280 home favorites, 6 the total here in this game. This is another one where I like Blackhawks plus 1.5. But I'm waiting on Knight. I don't know if I would take it if it's going to be a Soderblom sighting in net for the Blackhawks tonight. But I've got that circled. I haven't bet it yet. I should point that out. Don't want to make it sound like I've locked it in already. I have not. But it's definitely something I'm eyeing here in this game. We've talked about how, prior to the Winnipeg game notwithstanding, where they did lose by margin, and there was one other game where they lost by 2, and it was against LA. Every other game, they've basically, lost by a goal or they've won. They've been ultra competitive this year. They're off that disappointing setback, obviously, against Winnipeg to start the road trip. And the Edmonton Oilers continue to, I don't know what it is, not play great, hard, strong 60 minutes, really. Even the Utah game, they didn't. The Utah game, they were down 3-0 in that game before rallying to win that game by a score of 6-3. This Oiler team has not played a really strong 60-minute effort. And, of course, they lose in overtime to the New York Rangers 4-3 the other night. So that's concerning to me. You look at series history, Chicago actually beat Edmonton here at Rogers Place last year 5-2. And then in January, they played twice in Chicago. Edmonton won both games, but 1-goal margins. And one of the 2 wins for the Oilers against the Blackhawks in Chicago last year went to overtime. So I'm going to go plus 1. I'm not yet confirmed or locked in, but I'm eyeing, as long as Spencer Knight's in net, Chicago plus 1.5 and perhaps the draw here as well with the Blackhawks and the Oilers. What do you think here, Alex? Chicago, Edmonton.
Yeah, it's like that old Depeche Mode song. You're waiting for the night to fall. And if it is night, I would be on that draw as well at plus 400. That is a fantastic price. I think this could be a close battle. I would probably be leaning toward taking an Oilers to score in overtime, though. This definitely feels like a game that the Hawks would lose if it goes into OT or maybe if it goes into a shootout. But if it's a Soderblom side, then I'm hammering the over.
Yeah.
I'd
probably do the same.
Yeah.
I pivot to the over
Yeah.
if he's in
Yeah,
there.
this will be an over trifecta if it's Soderblom in net, because I'm seeing where the Oilers have been goals in the both teams to score in the first period as well, and this is one where the Hawks can't really afford to, I think, sit back and play that defensive style that they've been doing so far. They're gonna have to try and press a little bit. And that's a dangerous game to play with Edmonton, especially when you have 97-29. If you wake up and poke the Bears, they can bury you. But I think that's what the Hawks need, especially after that last game. You have to try and come out and pop out on the offensive. That's how Winnipeg got ahead of the Hawks and won that game the other night. So more than likely we'll be on that over in the first period live and over both teams to score free game. But I'm just waiting for the official confirmation of goalies.
All right, there we go. Wait. Yeah, same with me. This is definitely not every game is you got to wait to see who's in net, who the starting lineups are. But for me, this is one of those games for sure. Stuart Skinner, by the way, is in net for the Edmonton Oilers here tonight. So Skinner in net for them. And it looks like the Trooper and Mikheyev still possibly missing in action tonight for Chicago. Day to day they are with injuries. What do you think here, Ryan? Blackhawks Oilers?
Yeah, I mean, minus 280 is insane. I'm on the first period over for sure. I think there's going to be goals here. I am looking at some potential bargain bin bets in this one as well. But just on the first period over, I'm going to keep an eye kind of if there are, if that misses, maybe I see a lot of times, with the first period, if it ends 0-0, 1-0, it usually opens up a bit more in the second. So Oilers need to get rolling. As Alex mentioned, the Blackhawks can't let 97-29 get going. So, if they do, I think there's some goals early, could be some goals early. If not, it's a good live spot as well. So this is one I'm going to be keeping an eye on for that total to see kind of how it moves. But I expect 2 goals at least in the first period. So give me the first period over for this one.
All right, first period over for Ryan here with Blackhawks and Oilers. As far as props for this game here tonight, Matt Savoy. I've been waiting on a Matt Savoy sighting. I've mentioned Matt Savoy before, and here he is finally getting on the board for Edmonton. Maybe now a little confidence starts to come his way now after getting that goal the other night. So plus 400 for him for the Edmonton Oilers might be worth a look. I think on the Chicago side of things, Burakovsky or Green flanking Bedard. Probably value with both of those guys as far as a prop is concerned. So certainly wouldn't mind the value with either of them in this game tonight. All right, final game now of this Saturday slate. New York Rangers, Seattle Kraken. We've got the Rangers minus 130 road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. There's a lot of things about the Rangers that aren't great. They don't have great scoring depth. They don't have, even defensive depth, not great. But there is one area of their team that does have a lot of depth. Some of maybe the best depth from what I've watched and heard in the NHL this season for the Rangers. Their television booth. They've got Kenny Albert. We all like Kenny Albert. He's the new successor to Sam Rosen. But do you know who fills in and will be filling in for Kenny Albert tonight because he's doing an NFL game on Fox tomorrow? Alex Faust. And Alex Faust is really good. Really good. And you got both of those guys. So, but they've done a great job. I've even seen some Ranger fans saying, I hope we get to hear Alex more. People really liking him. But like I said, both of them doing a nice job there at the MSG broadcasts. This game's interesting. You got the Rangers minus 130 road favorites, total 5.5. I think when you look at this game, the Rangers, they're coming around slowly but surely. We do have to give them credit for their road record. I mean, they still are winless at MSG, but they're 5-1-1 on the road. This New York Rangers team. And on this road trip, they've started 2-1. They had the loss to Calgary 5-1, but they bounced back to shut out Vancouver 2-0 and come back from a deficit to beat the Edmonton Oilers 4-3 in overtime in their last game. We'll see how this one plays out here. Shesterkin and Decord are projected as the 2 goaltenders, but we don't have confirmations there with either one as of yet. No change in the injury situations. Rempe for the Rangers out, and still no Freddie Gaudreau, no Kaapo Kakko, no Jared McCann for the Seattle Kraken. So we won't get the chance to see Kaapo Kakko go up against his old team here tonight in this game. Rangers have won 2 in a row. I look at this spot for Seattle, though, a team that's 3-0-1 at home. They had beat Edmonton at home, tough overtime loss to Montreal, but they showed great resilience, being down 3-0, coming back to get 3 unanswered goals in the third and force overtime in that game. I think Seattle's the spot here. I'm going to take the Kraken here, plus 110. I think it's their time to bounce back, get a home win here. Very important spot. I know the Rangers have, somewhat righted the ship, and I say somewhat because I still don't think there's elements of their game that impress me all that much. And now we're talking the Rangers a road favorite, and that's a totally different ball of wax, if you ask me. So I'm going to take Seattle in this spot. Slight home dog, plus 110. And think they can get the home victory here against this New York Rangers team. One thing to admit, too, with the Rangers is, they got away with it against Edmonton. They gave up 36 shots in that game. Not really what you want to see. Like I said, I think this is a game in Seattle. It's going to of importance for them, to bounce back from that Montreal game as this homestand rolls along. So we'll take the Kraken here, plus 110 in this one. Alex, what do you think here? New York Rangers, Seattle.
I won't even be watching this game. I'll probably have Cincinnati, Utah on TV, the end of the World Series Game 7. There's a lot of other things, better usage of time and better usage of money, in my opinion. This is the pass for me.
Yeah, Perlo, I don't mind that, the first period specifically for the Seattle Kraken. That maybe in the first 20 minutes they get off to the fast start, get the lead possibly early in this game. I think that's definitely potential. But yeah, not the most glamorous NHL game on the slate for this big Saturday. I would agree with that with Alex on that one. Ryan, anything here? Rangers, Kraken.
No, I'm with Alex. This one's a pass for me as well.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that on a big card. As far as props, Shane Wright for Seattle. I think that's probably worth a shot here as far as Seattle. He scored the last game for them. And by the way, he scored before against the Rangers in a previous meeting between these two teams. So Shane Wright may be worth a look here for the Seattle Kraken as far as goal scorer prop tonight. On the Rangers side, you look at it, Will Cooley's up on the top line. There's probably some value there with him. But like I said, for Seattle, my favorite prop there to look at is probably Shane Wright. I'm going to give Berkeley Catton a shot tonight because he's still up there with Beniers and Eberle. I think it feels like it's about time for him maybe to chip in. So a Berkeley Catton prop, probably get involved a little bit there with that. Great stuff. Great discussion on the Saturday slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Looking forward to a big Saturday of hockey. It should be a fun one. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Appreciate it very much. And
subscribe too.
Yes.
We have 27% of people who watched the show last month that aren't subscribed to the channel. So please click on that subscribe button, that notification bell, so you'll know when we're on, especially on Mondays when the times might be a little off. Definitely want to subscribe to this channel.
Great point. Excellent point. If you are watching these shows on a daily basis, you should be subscribed to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 10,000, so make sure you help us out and be a subscriber to the YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you anything either, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as the climb for 10K subscribers continues. In the meantime, I want to mention, of course, wizardsportspicks.com. Great week overall. Long-term good all sports run. I think 31-19, 24-14 run in NFL and college football. 10-2 this week in the NHL. It's been great on the website. So get some premium picks from yours truly and Alex P. Smith and Matt Robinson and all the great handicappers there at wizardsportspicks.com. So make sure you check out that website and get on board. And of course, make sure you check out patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 per month. Again, goalie charts, totals charts, bonus content, exclusive live betcast. We're going to have our first Patreon members only exclusive live betcast in November, later this month. Date to be announced later this week. So make sure you sign up before that. You don't want to miss the Patreon exclusive live betcast that we have coming up. And of course, the highlight, element of being a member of Patreon is the daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. Live chat rooms as well to interact with all the other Patreon members. The response has been great. Keep it rolling. We appreciate it very much. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping us going long term. Just $10 per month. Get on board at patreon.com/iceguys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You got 2 days left to save 20% off everything in the store. Just visit the website, click on the redeem button at the top of the page, add your items to your cart. 20% will be taken off for you at checkout. So we got some new merch that will be coming out in the next couple of hours. I just got to work on it and upload it. So you definitely want to check that out as well. We got the Get Franked merch. We've got all of our classics as well. Caps, T-shirts, hoodies, you name it, we've got it. It's all available, and you can save 20% off for the next 2 days. That's at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Again, all weekend long. Get on board that sale and take advantage of it. All right, Bargain Bin Special. Best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsor.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Where the kings and queens shop.
Check out all our sponsors, including, of course, Royal Cannabis at royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code IceGuys. All right, Bargain Bin Special of the night, 12 games now to choose from here for this Saturday NHL slate. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain Bin Special of the night.
Yeah, let's go to that Dallas-Florida game, and the primary assist on this bargain bin will certainly go to Jonathan Davis. We're going to go with Evan Rodriguez, first goal. Against Dallas, he has scored the first goal of the game in back-to-back meetings and 3 of the last 4 meetings against that team. You can grab that plus 2,200 for first goal. You can even get plus 1,200 for first team goal. So that'd be the first goal for Florida. So I'm going to go with both of those tonight. That'll be my bargain bin special. Evan Rodriguez, first goal of the game, 22-1. First goal for the Florida Panthers at 12-1. For Saturday bargain bin special, shout out to Jonathan Davis once again.
There we go. And I like Evan Rodriguez just to score a goal, but I might have to sprinkle a couple bucks on that first goal with stats like that. Holy goodness. Head-to-head for him against Dallas. So Evan Rodriguez for Florida, first goal for Bargain Bin Special of the night. Is Kakko playing? Oh, very good. Let me just double-check on that. Kakko playing. Well, you knew if they could somehow get him in there against the Rangers, they would. But, yeah, could return Saturday. Likely to make his debut today, yes. Okay, well, I like Kakko to score against his old team. Now, first game back, maybe he's a little rusty, but still, I like that. You know, him to be able to find the back of the net against the New York Rangers, his old team. Ryan, Bargain Bin Special, what do you got?
Yeah, I actually looked at that Kakko one. I considered it. I didn't see him on DraftKings. I saw him at FanDuel around plus 400, so I will be on that as well. But for my bargain bin, I cashed one of these with Mitch Marner a couple weeks ago. I'm going to go with Leon Draisaitl, first Edmonton goal scorer. So I think he's got goals in 4 of his last 5. McDavid obviously hasn't been scoring, so I look for Draisaitl to get the Oilers going tonight. Give me Leon Draisaitl, first Oilers goal for my bargain bin special tonight.
And he's done that before. Alex knows that, especially. Leon Draisaitl, first goal for the Edmonton Oilers for Ryan Robinson with his bargain bin special of the night for this slate. My bargain bin special of the night, couple good choices that are out there, but I'm going to go with Perry for LA. Even though I like New Jersey in the game, plus 370 on Corey Perry, and he's feeling it right now. And he could have even had a few more goals than what we have seen so far. So I will go Corey Perry, Los Angeles, plus 370 for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets for this Saturday NHL card. Alex, what do you think here for best bet?
Let's go right back to that Dallas-Florida game. And like I said, these are two teams that, you know, you hear the matchup Stars and Panthers, you'd be kind of excited, but the form in which these two are playing, not really that great, and certainly even more so for the Dallas Stars, in my opinion. So give me the Florida Panthers in regulation plus $1.05. That'll be my Saturday best bet.
There we go. Florida Panthers in regulation for Alex B. Smith with his Saturday best bet. Ryan, best bet.
I mean, I hate to have the same one, but that was mine as well. I think Dallas is just struggling offensively. They're missing some key pieces. Obviously, Bobrovsky's been great against Dallas, so I'm not going to change it up. I'm going to stick with what I had before the show. Florida 60-minute line plus 105 is my best bet as well.
All right, there we go. Good stuff with that. All right, my best bet here for this Saturday card. I'm going to go with I'm going to give you two. It's a big card. This is, I haven't done many two best bets shows lately this season so far, but I'm going to give you two. One side, one total. The total is going to be Montreal-Ottawa. I like that. It's been an over series history. I don't trust either goaltender at the moment. Montembeault or Allmark. Both teams are scoring right now as well. Power plays have been good for both teams. Over 6.5. Actually, is there still some sixes out there? Let me just double check on that. No. So we'll have to go with 6.5 here, plus 100 with Ottawa, Montreal over. And then the side is going to be those El Diablo. We're going with the New Jersey Devils. They're -1. Actually, plus 104 is the best price out there. There's actually plus money in one spot with the New Jersey Devils. So New Jersey plus 104 against Los Angeles, and Ottawa, Montreal over 6.5 plus 100. One side, one total. Best bet here for this Saturday NHL card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. Ryan, thanks as always for joining us on another Saturday. And like I said, big NHL slate ahead. Looking forward to obviously seeing it all transpire. And a reminder, of course, again, we're going to be on with you tomorrow at noon Eastern. Monday shows are later. Monday shows are going to be that 3:30 p.m. Eastern time window right after the college football show ends. So we'll always keep you up to date on the exact start time of the Monday shows for the rest of the year. And then obviously when football ends, college football ends, it'll be 2 p.m. Eastern on Mondays, just like it is throughout the rest of the week. And yes, go Jays, says someone in the chat. Yes, we'll see if they can pull it off. Should be one hell of a. I know we're a hockey show and hockey's our focus, but special when you get Game 7 in any sport. That is for sure. That'll be fun to watch tonight. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, and if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith and Ryan Robinson, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we will be back tomorrow on Sunday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.